All right, everyone. This is more evidence that the Democrats really don't know what they're doing at the moment. They've been scattered because they were completely taken aback by the last election, and they no longer really have a party leader. So in the last 48 hours, we've had three people floated as potential party leaders for the Democratic Party. First it was Cory Booker, then Gretchen Whitmer, and well, first it was Whitmer actually, and now Stephen A. Smith. He is an ESPN commentator. This, this is really what they want to do as a party? Yeah, they're totally taking things seriously. You got so messed up over Trump being able to become only the second person in American history to have a non-consecutive second term, with the loss of who you thought was your true standard bearer after, Biden had to drop, which is like politically the whole situation is screwed up, honestly. They got so brain damaged by this, they now resemble John Fetterman before he took speech training. Uh, Stephen A. Smith, you want a sports commentator to lead your party. That makes a lot of sense. It's just like with Whitmer. Whitmer is cringe. Makes us, she'd be the next Kamala Harris. She would not win. I do not believe that she'll ever be president of the United States. If there's going to be a first female president, and I'm not the only commentator, and certainly not of the only political proclivity that has predicted this, it'll probably be a conservative Republican, actually. And Cory Booker makes absolutely no sense. He's nuts. He's not particularly well spoken. Always looks grumpy, by the way. For some reason, he always looks angry. Except in moments of sheer levity, he always looks angry, which is like, I don't understand. Stephen A. Miller, ESPN commentator. This is a serious political party. I think they've devolved to the point where they're acting like Republicans normally act. The Republicans suffering the slightest of setbacks, they scramble. They run around like chickens with their heads cut off, or chicken jockeys at this point, roughly, and go insane. Now the Democrats are doing exactly that. Normally, they hold rank. They organize. Before losing the election, they were holding rank. They circled those goddamn wagons around Biden so tightly that not an arrow could possibly penetrate through from the Comanches. Then, all of a sudden, things began to melt down. It's like watching 3 Mile Island, The Redux, or something like that. That's basically what the Democrats boil down to at the moment. They do not have a leader. Pelosi is too old and decrepit to run. And she may not even fucking make it until the midterms to keep her congressional seat. She swears she's going to run for re-election, but whatever. And the Democrats, in the course of a single week, have optioned 6 or 7 different fucking people as potential party leaders. Sanders has been mentioned. Schumer has been mentioned, which is a terrible idea, by the way. I think I'd prefer, if I was a Democrat, I'd prefer Gretchen Whitmer. Judge has been mentioned, and a host of other individuals. Tim Walz has been mentioned. That would be a derpy campaign. None of these people, as far as I can tell, could hold a candle to J.D. Vance, who is very likely to run in 2028, assuming that the Trump administration isn't a disaster. They're trying everything they can do to make it one. Assuming that they do tolerably well, J.D. Vance will probably be effectively, there will be a coronation ceremony effectively for him. He'll run effectively unopposed. He'll have the upfield advantage. Now, which one of those Democrats that is likely to actually be crazy enough to run is capable of beating him? Again, assuming that the Trump administration does tolerably well. So at the very least, holds the partisan line and so forth. And if Latino voting, by the way, is any indicator and the direction in which it's going, especially on fiscal issues, it's going to be an uphill battle for any Democrat, no matter how popular they are. So you've got the gay Dracula transport secretary. Well, the whole incident there in Ohio might be a little bit of baggage, so that's probably not a good idea. Oh, Newsom, I suppose he's on the list as well. Newsom, who does the amphetamine shuffle on a regular basis, is a complete hypocrite and is mostly remembered by his detractors for being a lockdownerist and then going to the French Laundry and not wearing a face diaper. So there's baggage there. Whitmer is simply disliked. Hochul would have no advantage because she's from New York, a state that'll go blue anyway, so doesn't bring anything to the field. Walls is a derp, a complete derp. Harris could run, but she already lost once. It's going to be kind of difficult for her to make her case to Democratic voters without significant retooling. And she's like Hillary Clinton. She needs focus groups in order to know what to say to people and randomly breaks down into ebonics. Oh, you've got AOC as well. She had a Harris moment just the other day. She's also very unlikable. I don't think that the liberal core would really coalesce behind her. She'd have the younger progressive votes and stuff like that, but that's what? It's going to be 5% of the country or something like that? 5% of the voting public, that'll work really well. The problem is a lot of people with that ideology aren't even old enough to fucking vote, so that's going to be a little bit of a problem. Booker is a dislikable grump. Bernie is too old, and this Stephen Miller dude Stephen Smith. Uh, he's a commentator about sports. So what are you talking about, dude? Yeah, he has some political views and stuff. He's literally on ESPN. What are you fucking talking about? The Democrats are not being a serious party. I can name a few people on the other side, on the Republican side, that would probably be qualifiable. Vance, of course, is the heir apparent, but he may choose not to run. There might be baggage from the administration, but that doesn't mean you don't have a roster of people who feasibly could win the presidency. On the Democratic side, though, they don't even have a leader. The Republicans don't have this problem because Trump is the president of the United States. And again, if you have the heir apparent moment, technical incumbency in a way, then obviously that person takes on a leadership role and it's believable. It's like I've always said in elections for some time now. Think about how you would script it if you were casting any of these people as the president of the United States. Think about how you would cast them in that role. What kind of movie would it be? What kind of president would you depict them as? Well, Bernie Sanders is the crazy old dude who means well, but ultimately is fucking up. Cory Booker is the executive style president, sort of the corporate boardroom president. Now, that's not necessarily the most terrible thing, but I would cast him off as having a personality that was quite grumpy and jolts people around him. Sort of like an LBJ or something like that. We've been there, we've done that. It's not necessarily the greatest of ideas, and so on forth. So just imagine to yourself that you're creating a movie script, a screenplay, and you're casting somebody as the president of the United States and taking them through whatever situations they're going through. Maybe it's a crisis, maybe it's a relatively relaxed, whimsical time. Doesn't really matter. You should probably mix it up throughout the movie. That way you can get some action scenes with fucking explosions and shit like that. Oh my God, ISIS attacked the White House or something like that. And think about how they would react to those scenarios. Once you get into that mentality, and of course, Trump doesn't have this problem because he is president of the United States, so it's a little bit different. With all of the other potential contenders, think about what kind of statesmanship would be involved. That's basically how to do it. When I look at the Democratic roster, at least as they've suggested so far, I don't see anyone that would be particularly believable in the role at all. Mostly it would be comedic, I would assume. Either comedic or corrupt. That's basically the gamut that you're running. I mean, this would definitely be a comedy movie with Mr. Smith. That would be a comedy. That's about all. Peace out.